Yeah, good turn of speed there. Just got in the outside. I think it was James Walkinshaw. Just couldn't recover. But the speed that has been shown from the Japanese side early is worrying the Scottish defence, particularly on their line.
Scotland now looking to hit back. It's in the hands of Armstrong. They spread it wide now to Smith. Smith jinks back to the right. He's got Chillingworth underneath him. He gives it back to Smith. And that's good interchange of play between Chillingworth and Smith. That's Smith, Chillingworth with the ball. He gets it now into Smith. He goes long, the long ball, long. It just falls short there of Gibson. There was an opportunity, although the Japanese defence looked as though it had come across and shut the play down.
Yeah, pass just floating forward there. It's the first intention from the Scotland team being down this end of the field. They go the big long bomb. He did go forward. Stuart Gibson, not much he could have done about that. He did go the big flying catch to try and reel that one in, but the forward pass given from the referees.
Takaguchi that time got the Japanese right up to their box. They brought a whole heap of fresh troops on there. As Yamamoto takes off from half, he's gone into the right-hand side of the defensive line. They're looking for a cut play. And really well defended by Scotland, but very good attack there from Yamamoto. And the Japanese looking very dangerous.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Dean. Good call from the referees as well. They did throw it back on the inside. It came off the chest of Callan Smith. No hands involved in the play. Bounced off his chest. Play on is the call. Good work from the refs.
Scotland now driving forward, playing very direct. The ball's in the hands of Taylor. Taylor dummies back inside, looking to bring Arundel in, but he doesn't use him. Taylor again with the ball. He's through the hole. He's looking wide, and he's caught there. Very good touch that time by Horry. And that's a turnover, the acting half court. And there's a penalty for not returning the ball to the mark. And now Japan ready to launch yet another attack. Japan now drives into the opposition territory through Horry. They bring their substitutions on. That's Sato. They swing the ball wide now. It's in the hands of Nishiguchi. Nishiguchi with a long ball out to Kato. That was number 5, Kato. Off a great long ball from Nishiguri. And Japan well and truly in charge of this game.
Yeah, they're showing that they've got plenty of tricks in the bag. Early touchdowns that they've got were just some nice individual brilliance and speed going through from half, but a little bit of ball movement there from the Japanese, and they caught the Scotland side right on the back foot. Nice touchdown there for Japan.
Yeah, Japan playing a little bit more direct, but they're also running lines, dragging the defenders into holes rather than just running directly at them, and that's allowing their speed merchants to get out of half and cause all sorts of havoc. As now Scotland back on the attack, this time with Armstrong. He throws the long ball out to his winger. Really well cut off, and that's better play from Scotland. They move the ball now to the middle. They throw it wide now to the wing there of Maud's, and now it's in the hands of the 4, which is Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw comes back to short side in a change of play. Well, I think it's a 4. It might be a 7. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a 4.
Yeah, the positive signs here, they're looking well all on both sides of the park here, the Japanese. Their defence is holding up nicely too down the other end of the field. Scotland have thrown a couple of questions at them.
Oh, he's away here. He's the missed touch, and he's got the really good speed. Exceptional speed. Sorry there, Scott, to cut you off, but the number 13 there, Nakamizo, showed exceptional pace to get beat past his winger player and show a clean pair of heels to the line.
Well, it's been a real highlight of this Japanese side, not only the agility but the speed that a lot of the players have across the park. There wasn't too much happening down there on that left-hand side of the field, just managed to skip around the right-hand side winger from the Scottish side. But once he actually kicked off and accelerated away from Scotland, they were never going to chase him down. Great touchdown from Japan.
And that's Johnson now with the ball for Scotland. He gets on the outside. He's a defender and he looks like he's through. But the referee's called touch. Well, that's better play from the Scots.
Yeah, almost lucky to get away with it. He actually kind of ran around his own support player there, but there wasn't any obstruction given to the Japanese players, so the referees are happy with this continue.
Well, they can't go to the bunker to see if there's an obstruction, so we're happy to play on. A ball in the hands of Chillingworth. He drops it back inside now. He's out of half this time, Chillingworth. And that's the acting half court. As soon as that play just fell apart there with Johnson, unfortunately, losing his feeding in the ruck position. Now Japan driving it again. They showed good intensity in this heat, Japan. Driving down the field. That was Sato with the ball. Now again, and that's clean spare Japan at the speed, the pace. Nishiguchi was showing a clean pair of heels, really off nothing. Found the hole, just put his head down and burnt the defence.
Well, I just don't know what Scotland can actually do here to try and stop this roll from the Japanese side. Speed is just one thing that's extremely difficult to defend. There really isn't anything more that they could have done there. Try to get numbers around the ball player, I think, but that's going to expose them in other areas of the field. Japan are all over this match at the moment.
Yeah, leading 6 touchdowns to nil. I think the Scots have got to try and push forward in defence at the moment. They're just rolling and letting the Japanese come to them. And when they press the acceleration button, the Scots aren't able to go with them. Here they come with a sweeper play themselves, the Scotland, but they've gone back against the ruck. They look for the inside ball. Well set up, but unfortunately Chambers not able to get the ball down. It was an interchange of play between Ross Taylor and Chambers. Ross Taylor trying to drop the ball back on the inside to catch Japan napping, but the Japanese were well aware of what's going on. And there's Taylor with the ball again. He's trying to bring the defence forward. They come around on the sweep play this time. They go long with the ball, and the referees called that forward. And now Japan starting on their own 5. They spread the ball wide there. And that's Tommy taking the ball forward. They get around on the wrap. They're looking to get to their box. They're not driving directly to their box like other teams so far. They're willing to take the hard yards up the centre of the field first and now bring their attacking plays on, and they come on at speed. And they've got numbers. They've created numbers again. They get the pass away, but couldn't get that pass away. And that's the first 10-minute quarter, and very impressive by Japan.
Yeah, great first quarter there for Japan. They're going to take a drinks break. I think we need one as well. They've been explosive, the speed, the footwork, the agility. It's been a really complete performance so far from the Japanese side against Scotland.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what instructions the coaches can pass on to their team here. If I'm the Japanese coach, I'm very happy with the way things are going. I'm not looking to change too much at all. I want them to continue. They've got a 6-0 lead in the first 10 minutes of the game. I want them to continue in that vein. If I'm the Scottish coach, I really want my defenders to start trying to push up, cut time and space down with the ball, and probably get a little bit tighter in the ruck. They're just allowing Japan too much room to move.
Yeah, so we hope you are enjoying the coverage through the BBC this afternoon here in Malaysian local time, early morning over in England and the UK. And there's plenty more games to come up through the BBC this afternoon. And we obviously have the Japan and Scotland game currently taking place. That's Men's Open right now this afternoon as well. We're heading back out to Field 6, and it will be the New Zealand and Wales teams coming up against each other in the Mixed Open. And we're going to finish up with the commentary game, the round of the game at 4:45 local time. I'm looking forward to this one, Dean. It's England versus Scotland Mixed Open.
Well, there's some old scores to be settled there, isn't it? I know Robbie McKenzie, the Scottish coach, and I've been really impressed with the way that he's put his program and his preparation for this event on, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing them play live. Everything I've seen them doing in the background, I think they've been preparing really, really well for this event, and really interested to watch them play here today, because I think they can put a scare through both the two heavyweights, Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, and they're just the games that we are commentating on, but there is also plenty more games on the backfields as well, lots of coverage. So if you've got family and friends competing in the World Cup here in Malaysia as well, plenty more live stream games to tune into as the Japanese side, they make their way back out onto the field.
Right, it looks like that's the fourth touch gone. They'll have two attacking sets here. They roll the ball 7 metres out. They spread it wide again. They go the long, flat pass out to the wing. Well defended by Scotland that time, but they're willing to test Scotland on the extremities, and they're not frightened to throw the long, flat pass. Scotland now coming off their own line. Plenty of work to be done here. That's a good drive. That's the intensity they need. This is better from the Scots. This is a bit of William Wallace showing out here. A bit of fight from the Scots as they drive the ball forward into the opposition. He's got away from him again there. That looked like it was Smith. A very good drive there. There was a Rundle out of half. Bit of a heavy touch there. Probably looking for the penalty. Asks the question of the referee there. But Lawson was probably not overly happy with the touch, but the referee was.
Yeah, nice contact there, and Lawson, I think it was. Yeah, Angus Lawson. A little bit of a Canopy Award potential there for Lawson. Took the shot. There's always a bit of contact in the touch football. You might hear touch in the name, but there is always plenty of contact by play on from the refs.
Here go the Japanese again. They've created numbers out wide. Great hands there. Great hands there from Nakamizo. And the Japanese looking dangerous at every turn when they get into the red zone. In there, come from the quick, the long ball out. Really well set up. The referee seemed happy with that. And that came off Nishiguchi again, and he's having a very good game for the Japanese.
Yeah, again, it's the ball work that is starting to come to the forefront from the Japanese. It was all dummy half runs in the early stages of the match, but now they're really letting the ball do the work as well. So just strike across the park. They can transition and switch up with ease at the moment. Japan, they're in real control.
And you can see the speed of play that they're playing this game with is really putting the wing defenders from Scotland at two minds. I don't know whether they should come in a little bit to help their inside players because of the speed or stay out. And the Japanese are taking full advantage of that. Scotland now. They've got the ball, they got it down on the link. They probably want to get it back into the middle of the field. And there it is that time, and that's Smith out of half. He throws long. There's an opportunity here, but well read. And Chillingworth trying to dive over, but well read by the defence there. And that was Nakamichi coming across there to make that touch.
Yeah, did a good job to hang on to that. If there was just a little bit more time up the sleeve, Chillingworth might have been able to get the inside ball. There was no one in front of the inside support players, but at least the next best option if you can't score the touchdown is to finish your set, complete it, and they end up down the other end of the field.
Here they come again. They're at speed as they float onto the field. And it probably needed to release that time, Japan. And that was Horo who was caught with the ball. That's the ball again. He shifts it out now to Yakamoto. Yakamoto gives it back to Hori. Hori with the ball there. He brings back Yakamoto on the switch, and Yakamoto is through. Oh, but the defence is there for Scotland. And again, the last touch. The Japanese testing Scotland at every set.
Yeah, Peter Chambers with a big touch there. He makes his way off the field. They're playing with 4 at the moment. They just took that opportunity to get a couple of subs on at the same time, but the ref's going to blow a penalty here.
Oh, that's not what Scotland need. Give away a possession this deep in their own territory. And now it's Hamada with the ball for Japan. He shifts it out now to Kozumi. They drop it back inside now. They're trying to bring the middle defenders up. And that's Kozumi again with the ball. He's down here. They go with a little dink play, and that was really well set up. A little interchange of play with Urakawa. And I see that the Japan now really running away with this score at 8 touchdowns to 0.
Yeah, it's just got the Scotland side, unfortunately. Well, I was going to say in 2 minds, probably 3 or 4 minds, because the Japan side, they are playing with just absolute complete control at the moment. They can shift up their attacking style depending on what the defence from the Scottish side is doing. They can go short, they can go long, they can expose with individual brilliance. So Scotland, they're rattled when they're in defence.
And there's the ball gone to ground. And once again, here goes Japan. I remember earlier today, Scott, you were saying that the English women's 35s was your favourite team here at the World Cup. Well, mine is the Japanese men's open because number 1, Daiichi Yago, every time he comes to Australia to play in the New South Wales State Cup, he brings a little bottle of sake for me, and the Japanese, an opportunity lost. So while you might get on the chocolates, I'm happy with the sake that Japan bring me. So they're my favourite team.
Oh, fair enough, but I can see, well, you get the double bonus because getting some sake delivered, but to actually witness them at the New South Wales State Cup must be an absolute thrill. Their skill level is superb. They must have really come along and gotten great benefit from playing in Australia at the New South Wales State Cup.
Yeah, each year that they've returned, you can see the improvement from the previous year. They've worked really hard on their campaign. They want to be a force in world touch. And from what we're seeing here at the moment, they are certainly on the right track. Japan once again into the Scottish half. They're taking it wide towards their sub-box so they can bring their players on. There's Nichiguchi. He's been very dangerous, the 7. Here they go again. And the ball down. Mizuguchi comes out there. They go long again, continuing to stretch Scotland, but that was well defended that time. Urakawa with the ball. And there's back inside, and they'll score here as he takes it. He's just put it down. They did everything right, but just the last pass there from Kozumi just going to ground. He made it difficult for his wing. But Scotland now driving the ball out off their own line. This is better from the Scots. A good drive. This is what they want to do. Take the ball downfield. There's Chambers there, drives the ball forward. Now it's Chillingsworth. Out of half goes Chambers. He steps back and passes to Chillingsworth. And a bonus here. A penalty. A penalty for Scotland in the attacking zone. Let's see what they can put on. Chillingworth with the ball. He wants to get to the right-hand side of the field. He drops it back to Arundel. They bring... that was Chambers coming around on the sweep, but the Japanese had read that pretty well. So that's Chillingworth. He drops it back to Arundel. Looking to bring Chambers around. Here he comes on the sweep this time. The play just falls apart there. They just weren't... He's picked the ball up. I thought it hit the ground, and Chambers goes for the line. But there's a problem here with Chambers. It looks like he has already got strapping on that shoulder. The play looked like it had fallen apart there, Scott, and then all of a sudden they popped the ball out and there was a chance on the outside.
Yeah, almost gave themselves up. The inside ball looked like it might have actually hit the grass. He did have his hands over it at the same time, but he looked up at the referee, almost giving himself up. The referee said play on. That caught the Japanese defence napping as well. They shifted the ball outside and they almost created a try there, but it's going to be last touch here and they're going to have to try to create a miracle play, Scotland.
Cunningham draws the ball. They take it to the wing. And probably just a tactic to put Japan in the furthest corner away from their box. And now Scotland should try and press up and make Japan only get a couple of touches in their red zone. But they're hanging back now, and Japan already on 2, up to 10 metres short. They use the ball again. They're up to halfway. And there's going to be a penalty here for a forward pass. And I'm pretty sure that was the correct decision from our vantage point.
Yeah, forward pass, that is the right decision, as you mentioned, Dean. So, Japan, they've given away possession on the last few sets. Scotland are going to be attacking the Japanese line at the moment, but their defence has been quite good as well, Japan. Scotland haven't really had too many opportunities to crack them at this stage.
Mm-hmm. So the ball's in the hands of Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw with it again from the half. He's got Smith there with him. Smith will be at half. And he comes out, he slows it down, he gives it back to Walkinshaw. He wasn't happy with what he sees. This time he'll take off, he'll come back to the lead. Dummies left, he goes right. And Walkinshaw, I think, has scored. No, they've called the touch there. Yeah. Takashuo there calling the touch.
Yeah, sorry to jump in, Dean. He definitely thought he scored the try. They actually flicked the ball back to the halfway. It's always a traditional sign that the player is trying to sell to the referee that it was a try. It might have been closer than what we could see over here in the box. The referee asked the player if he made the touch. He said he did. They take the honesty and they continue on.
Japan now, once again, only takes them 2 or 3 touches to get their subs on the field. And they'll come on at pace now as they come around the right, they swing around to the right. Out of half they go again. They've gone back to the left-hand side of the field. They throw the ball, and that's 3 touchdowns they've put down. And it probably started as we get to the halftime break. I was just about to ask you the question, Scott. Is it the fact the fatigue starting to come in? Japan have played this at a pretty high pace and a pretty high intensity. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to pay your tickets for that.
Yeah, you couldn't blame them for starting to feel a little bit of fatigue because the speed of which they played that whole first half was just super impressive. On the flip side, and I was really paying attention to Scotland as they were trying to defend that line, they did nothing but just retreat on the back foot. They couldn't get any pressure onto the Japanese side at all. One area that they need to try to counteract, but when the Japanese are just attacking here with the speed of what they are, doesn't matter who you are, some days it's really hard to stop.
Yeah, the Scots, they've really been battered from pillar to post the way the Japanese have played this first half of touch. If I'm the Japanese coach, I want them to still keep playing, but I want them to start to conserve energy. They're playing a really high-paced game, and you've only got so many petrol tickets that you can spend this whole week. And we're in the round games now. You've got to do the right thing and win those games, but you don't want to expend all your petrol in doing so.
Yeah, it's a really tricky position to be in, isn't it, where you probably want to conserve a little bit as well moving into the back end, but it might be getting into the point now where every try is very crucial in terms of for and against.
Yeah, and just having a look at the Scots down there on getting the cold towels, getting the ice on them. And I suppose that's the other thing we've got to consider here, that Scotland are really coming out of the back of their winter, where the Southern Hemisphere teams are just coming into their winter and off the back of summer. So I'm sure that these hot conditions and the humidity is taking its toll on the Scottish boys, regardless of how much hard work they've put in the lead-up.
Yeah, we've actually had quite a good insight with some of the guest commentators that we've had up. Dean, we've had some coaches from the England, Wales and Scotland teams, and they talked us through the preparation of what they've had to go through to get ready to come to Malaysia. They've had the hot chambers, also going to the gym with like multiple layers on to try to rectify some of these hot conditions. But sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, it's a completely different ball game when you actually get to the tournament and you've got to play 6 or 7 games during that World Cup tournament itself.
Yeah, I know they came in early for this event to try and acclimatise to the conditions as well, and yeah, you can do all that work in the gym with multiple clothing levels on, and you can train in the hot rooms and the hot chambers and that, but it's still a little bit different when you're out there on the field with bodies running at you and pressure coming, and the Japanese have handled it fairly well in this first half. I'm hoping to see Scotland be able to regroup here a little bit at half time and come out and show a real fighting spirit, and see if they can get a few on the board and challenge the Japanese.
Yeah, they'll definitely be looking to get their first touchdown on the board. They've had a couple of chances down that end, but yeah, I made mention a couple of times. The Japanese defence has been pretty strong as well, and they haven't really been having to answer too many questions. But yeah, Scotland, it's going to take a big effort in this second half to try to get a little bit of respect back in the scoreline.
Yeah, and the Japanese, as we said earlier through the call, they have been coming to Australia for the last 4 years, playing in the New South Wales State Cup each December. That's played in hot conditions as well. And they've picked up a lot in their development. England have started coming the last couple of years in their men's open, and have brought their women's open again in 2018. And the Japanese ladies have come out a few. So they're using those Southern Hemisphere tournaments to get themselves ready for this. Even the fact where they've picked up an Australian coach to help with their preparations. I know the Australian Touch Association does a lot of work with Japanese Touch Association to try and develop the game globally. And I'm really impressed with what I've seen here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Australian coach Steve Roberts played a lot of touch football, a lot of World Cups himself in the Australian Men's Open side. But just give us a bit of insight into the influence that he has been able to put onto this Japanese side.
Well, I think you can see the influence in the way that the Japanese team is playing. They drive forward with intensity, but they're happy to move the ball around and really stretch the defences on the extremities. We've seen other teams from European nations earlier today where they will drive the ball forward, but then they just play middle, and really not putting too much pressure on the whole defensive line. If you have a look at this Japanese team, they play a similar style to what the Canterbury club in Australia plays, and that's Steve Roberts' club, and he's a very influential player with that club, still playing Men's Premier League, and they play a similar style. So he's been to Japan a few times, he's worked hard with these boys, and you can see that the dividends are being paid right here this week in Malaysia.
So on the flip side, the Scottish team, they did do it tough in the first half there, but what did you see that was good signs for them anyway within that first 20 minutes?
Yeah, look, when they got into the red zone, they were trying to structure their attack, and on a few occasions they had some real consistency with the way that they played. And this is better from Scotland as they, I just think that's a spectacular dive and catch. But the referee, Tony Calabria from Wollongong, has said that ball went forward, but that was a far better setup, a bit more structure. Again, it's a mental thing, making the right decision mentally. Rather than having thrown that ball to the wing, he probably would have been better going through the hands because the link was in a hole. Make that Japanese defender make a choice. Do I stay out or do I come in?
Yeah, if you could give half a point for tries, he would have got one on that effort for the full stretching dive in the corner. So good signs early on, though.
Here goes Japan again. They've got him turned inside and out there. And that's great play from it, really well read. And that was a very good attacking raid there from Japan, from Yamamoto, and really turned the defence inside and out and then just chose to go on the outside.
It was a good juggle, one-handed juggle to reel that one in and still slam the ball down. But Ross Taylor coming across in defence did a good job to shut that one down. So positive from Scotland, although they were exposed again from the speed of the Japanese.
Here goes Scotland this time. Out of the half, that's Callum Smith, and he's caught there. And that was Yamamoto who makes the touch. And probably want to see a little bit more drive, a little bit more intensity from the Scots. But again, we do have to acknowledge there's very tough conditions out there today. Very steamy, very hot. And teams coming from the Northern Hemisphere out of their winter are really finding it difficult in these conditions. Japan now with a penalty. They're only 10 out now. The ball in the hands of Daiaki Nachi. Oh, there was a good play there. The referees found another penalty for offside. And that was Nishiguchi there trying to sneak through. Uruguay and back to Nishiguchi. That's it. Uruguay with the ball. It's down in front of Sato. Sato back outside. That was really well executed from Japan. Really strong play. Hitting the right lines, running the right holes. And they've scored yet another touchdown. This time to Hamada. And Steve Roberts, the coach of the Japanese team, will be very happy with what he's seeing.
Yeah, beautiful work there from the Japanese side. Shaped the pass really nicely. It actually looked like he might have been shaping long. Just held it up a little bit as well. Beautiful line, and it just opened up, presented itself nicely. But a really good finish. That's a well-constructed try there from the Japanese
And here
team.
comes Scotland now. They've got the ball. They get taken to the left-hand side of the field. They step back inside. They can release the pass there. And the flick pass out the back. The ball's gone long. Let them play on, sir, please. But I think that was the right call. It was late.
Yeah, it definitely was the right call. Yeah, nice little bit of flick work there as well from Scotland. They send it over to this right-hand side. But, yeah, it definitely was a touch and pass back on the left-hand side of the field.
And here comes the Japanese juggernaut again. They're driving forward. They get to their box. They're going to bring the fresh troops on here again. You know, I think Steve Roberts might have actually said to them, let's just slow the play down a little bit, not get too much ahead of ourselves. While they're playing with good intent, they're not driving with the intensity that they did in the first half. A penalty to Japan, up on the 10-metre line. That's in the hands of Tokiusho. And now with Hori. Out of the half he goes, Tokiusho. And the ball just going to the ground, but the referees found the penalty off the mark. And now Scotland deep in their own territory.
Yeah, I almost thought they were lucky to get away with it. At first, I didn't really see the over-the-mark penalty. Angus Lawson just got himself behind the player, so it was lucky that the call was over the mark from the referee, because if it was play on, Lawson got himself into a bad position, but over the mark is called from the refs.
They need to get rid of the ball there, and they do. Well handled there by Chillingworth. He's gone hatless the second half, Chillingworth, and let's see if he looks like he's got the solar panels up top there. So
I'd put the hat back on.
Let's see if it'll get them going. But here come Japan, driving hard down the field. A good release there. And that was the 12 again. Yamamoto, he's been very good in this game, as who has Nishiguchi. And here they go again. That's Nishiguchi out of half. He releases long. They go long to the winger. They've got options everywhere, Japan. And this time it's Kamata. Oh, I thought Kamata had scored in the corner. Yes, and good sportsmanship there. That was Maudsley, who got up and said, no, sir, I missed. And Japan, options everywhere.
Yeah, great sportsmanship from Ross Maudsley, I should say. And both players there just giving each other a high five. It was appreciation from the Japanese player as well for the honesty. Beautiful ball work again, hit the money. Maudsley did a good job to get into a position where he almost got the touch. And sometimes there's just those ones where you actually think, yep, I've got him, but just still can't get the hands on the ball. But he did a good effort there, Maudsley.
And now here comes Scotland. We need the bagpipes. We need something to get them going. As they come out of the half, they go back to the left-hand side of the field. They go that long, flat pass again. I think they're just starting to push, although they've picked up a penalty. I think they're playing the scoreboard rather than what's in front of them. And the fact that they are playing the scoreboard is why they are pushing the passes.
Yeah, they don't need to. I think if they just go back to basics, get the simple stuff right, keep themselves down this end of the field, put a real focus on their defence, they can get themselves back into the match and get a couple of touchdowns. That's not going to help though.
No.
Second or third touch, they just go try to get the sneaky play. Lawson again goes from half. They turn the ball straight over, get the ball back to Japan.
And look, they got that ball back on. Japan got that ball back on their own 5. 2 touches and they're already at halfway. And that's what we talked about, the Scottish team rolling back rather than pushing forward. And that just allows Japan to have the opportunity to get deep into their attacking red zone and run plays. And here they go again. Yamamoto this time, and Yamamoto gets on the outside of his opposing defender and just puts the foot down and scores once more.
Yeah, I really liked the early ball there from Tokusho, just straight from half. Beautiful, crisp ball, fired it out nicely, and just running onto the ball as well. That's the next best part of the play, is to pass the ball to where the player is moving to, not where he is at that stage. He ran onto the ball with speed, scored the touchdown, and Japan, they just keep rolling on, and Scotland, and they've got the ball back now.
And I can see, Scott, we've been joined here today at the World Cup by one of the leading politicians here in Japan, Michael Sweeney. So welcome to His Honour, Michael Sweeney. But we're back now with Scotland. I've got the ball. We're penalty 10 metres out from the Japanese line. Ball's in Chillingworth's hands. They give it now back to Taylor. Taylor dummies. And again, they're setting up their plays well. They're just not executing. And this time it's Armstrong at half. He gives it to Chillingworth. Chillingworth down. Armstrong gives it back to him from half. Chillingworth running the line. They've just got to straighten that play. Grabbing across the field. It's closing the hole down defensively. Chillingworth with the ball. He drops it down in front. And that time it's Armstrong. He takes off and he gives the ball off to Taylor. Taylor slows it down. He gives it to Armstrong. Taylor out of half. He comes back to the right-hand side of the field. Gives it to... And it's in the hands of the 9. And that's Brown. And again, the Scottish team, they're setting their plays up, but they're just not running the right line, Scott.
Yeah, I think that was a really important point that you made in the previous set there with Scotland crabbing across the field. I think they can take a leaf out of the Japanese team's book and just get that crisp, real clean pass straight out of half and then try to run and take advantage of the space.
And here they go again, the Scots. That's Smith. He's given it back to Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw dumps it now. Smith, he takes off to the left-hand side of the field. Again throws that long pass. He's caught it this time. But once again, that's a penalty. That's 4 times this half they've played the same, tried that exact same play, and 4 times come up empty-handed.
Yeah, I think they need to look for the short option. They keep firing that long ball out there. I know it was caught in the end, but it just keeps going forward from the hands. So if they can look to go short, maybe look for a little bit of phase play if they can get their touch counts right. That might be the way for Scotland.
And here they come again. Japan driving deep in. Out of half. They throw the long ball to Tommy and a good defence there from Scotland.
Oh, he shapes up as well. Not today, he says. Got the arms up there. Big timber out here on the right-hand side and slaps that ball down. Would have been happy in the NBA playoffs with a play like that, protecting the hoop.
I hope the Boston Celtics are watching. And there goes around to Japan. They go back to the right. They step back inside, but good defence there again. That time Nakajimi. The ball's in the hands of Tommy Ishikawa. Tommy Ishikawa throws a long ball, and Tommy Ishikawa throws a long ball out to Kamata. And Japan right on the hooter, score once more. And they have been impressive with a quarter to go.
Yeah, nice work from Kamata as well. The ball was sailing his way. He just managed to keep himself planted right on the inside touchline there. Grabbed the ball, assessed it perfectly, plants it down. More touchdowns for Japan.
Well, they look a little bit deflated coming off here, the Scots. I actually don't think it's the scoreboard. I think it's the conditions. They look like they're doing it tough out there. And the Japanese boys, they're not letting up.
And not by any stretch of the imagination. I think they really smell blood in the water. And definitely not putting the cue in the rack by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, we've just made mention of their attacking prowess quite a lot in this match. Super impressive. So having a look at them at the tournament in this match, Dean, but also having good knowledge of them from playing down in Australia, where do you see them in the tournament? Are they getting closer to a point where they might be able to start asking some questions of the Australian and New Zealand sides?
Oh, look, they're definitely on that pathway. Both the Australian and New Zealand men's open teams are star-studded, stacked with talent. They are two amazing teams. But Japan and even England, both are closing the gap. And their skill level, the way that they have learnt to adapt and play the game from a tactical sense, both those nations are really starting to knock on the door and say, you better just look over your shoulder, Australia and New Zealand, because we're coming. The Japanese, they're looking to put both Kiwis and Emus on the menu.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's hard not to start thinking ahead to Friday and Saturday with those playoff games. We're really starting to get some anticipation for those coming on, and we're definitely going to be keeping one eye on the Japanese team to see where they end up in the standings as we lead into playoffs.
Well, see, and that's the wild card. The different conditions that players are faced with here this week, the hot and humid conditions. Come the semi-finals and finals, it could really come down to those teams that have looked after themselves really well and recovered after each game. And so it may not necessarily be a surprise if someone like a Japanese men's open team defeated one of the big guns in the semi-final if they've looked after themselves correctly, which gets back to how much petrol are they burning in this game. If I'm Coach Roberts, in that last quarter, I'm saying, boys, let's just get the ball, drive it downfield. We've done enough to win this game. Let's conserve energy. We've got a lot of games to get through. We've got a big weekend coming up. And I would be wanting them to... They're not going to lose this game, so I'd be wanting them to conserve energy. On the other hand, if I'm Scotland, I want to say, well, let's go back and start this. It's 0-0. It's the beginning of the game. Let's start again and see if we can get a couple on Japan right here, right now. And they've started off all right, Scotland. That attacking 4A to the right-hand side of the Japanese defence. They swift the ball now back into the middle of the field. And that was Taylor who dumps the ball. He's got the ball back inside. He's got it again, and well read there by Japan, but at least Scotland having a crack there.
Yeah, good to see them still asking the questions there. We might have gone slightly forward that inside pass. The referee was happy for it to continue, but yeah, they just got to ask questions.
Here you go, Japan again, and just driving into the opposition half. And you can see that they're not probably running with as much intensity, although here's a go now for Japan as they throw the ball to the left-hand side of the field. Really good line being run, really good hands, got the ball out. That was exceptionally good play from Japan. Tokiyusho's hands there, the pass had gone behind him, he was able to drag it in and then throw the easy ball out for Nakachimi to score.
Put that one down to Tokusho. Beautiful hands. Didn't really have any right to catch that one, but still not giving up on the play. Gets his hands down low. Manages to pick it back up. Reassess that there was a 2-on-1 situation on the left-hand side. And another touchdown. Really nice touchdown there from Japan.
And now Scotland once again with the ball. They've been tapping off a lot this game. And in the hands of Smith. Smith tries to dance his way through the line, but Japan up to it, although they've picked up a penalty here, the Scots. Lawson gives it back to Smith. Smith, he got the ball back from Lawson again. He tries to get through again, dancing his way through. Very good call there on the board. And Tomiai Ishikara says the referee, no sir, I missed. And Scotland are finally on the board.
Yeah, the crowd goes up as well. There's a nice contingent of Scottish fans here in the crowd. And it was a really good diving effort. Did good to come off the right foot, but when he actually dived, he turned his body inside out, which made it quite hard for the Japanese defender to try and get it. Good honesty from Japan as well. First one on the board for Scotland.
Yeah, they've had a few shots down on the Japanese line. They probably haven't really executed that well, but that time they executed really, really well, and they got the result. And now Japan, about 10 out from the Scottish line, and they're diving through, steps back on the inside. The touch was made, but the penalty there for not moving forward. And that's Yamamoto, who has had a fantastic game. A really well That was the acting half. Oh, he's called him offside, the referee. Yeah, he's gone back and got the penalty. And I thought Adam Brown had got up there very quickly, and he had, because he was a couple of metres offside, Scott.
Yeah, before you knew it, the Japanese player had the ball in his hands and he was looking to go out to that right-hand side, looked up and there was a Scottish player right in his face.
Yamamoto from half, a very simple play. The Scots just not aiming up there, and Kamada scores again. He's scored a handful of tries this game. And again, that man, Yamamoto.
Yeah, what was impressive about that touchdown there was it was a bit of a dead play as they were coming off the penalty. They just rolled the ball and still managed to create an overlap really quickly. So again, the skills are really at a forefront here from Japan.
Scotland now, they're getting into looking to set their play. The ball's in Smith's hands. He's tried hard all day for Scotland. Callum Smith, he's got the ball again. He tries to go back inside. Well read, but it's going to pick up a penalty. So another set here for Scotland to try and look to set up a play that they think will get them a touchdown. There's Smith, he dumps the ball. He gets it back from the half, and he once again they try that same play. They're just talking there. Talking with Lawson. Lawson at half gives it back to Smith. Smith releases the Lawson on a quarterback play. They get it out wide. They go long to the wing. And there's a touchdown for Scotland. A diving touchdown to Stuart Gibson.
Oh, the
come on,
taking it off him. No.
I'm even willing to boo the referee there. Let him play. Unfortunately, that last pass going forward. But it was really well set up. And here's another opportunity. Let's get it again, Scotland.
You'll never take our freedom.
Well, that was probably the worst Mel Gibson accent and impersonation I've heard. But let's hope that Scotland can hit back in here again. Chillingworth in the ball. He's got the ball again, looking to set up play. They need to drive into the Japanese here. You can see the Japanese pressing forward. Johnson gets around his player. Chillingworth at half. He gives the ball off to Walkinshaw. Walkinshaw gets it down. No, the touch has been made. And now it's back in the hands of Johnson. He finds Chillingworth. He brings Taylor back into it. Taylor's with the ball again. He goes off his left. He looks short to Chillingworth. But the Japanese defence really well structured. Not getting sucked in. And now they'll look to go into attack. They drive the ball forward here. And they get around on the wrap. You can see them fading around towards their sub-box. We saw games earlier today where teams went lateral to get to their sub-box. Japan have taken 3 touches moving forward. Now they're bringing their attackers on with the defence going backwards. The ball's in the hands of Takaguchi. They're going to get it out now. Yamamoto, is that Yamamoto? He has had a really good game. Not happy with his support player there. He was not happy with Nakajimi. And he wanted him to stay out and he tried to switch in.
Yeah, nice read though from Robin Johnson. Knew that the touch had to be made. Came from outside in to make the touch. Yeah, if they managed to evade Johnson there, then it might have been an overlap. But this is nice drive here from Scotland as they scoot from half.
Yeah, this is better from Scotland, dancing around, but that was a far better set. That's probably nearly, even though they didn't score, it's probably nearly their best set of the game. Japan now, working it out from their line. Again, you can see that they'll drive forward. They won't go laterally. They'll use 3 touches to bring their players back into the sub-box area. Now they all sweep onto the field. They got away with one there. They had 7 on the field for a couple of seconds there. And they've picked up apparently a double bunger against Scotland.
Yeah, you feel for the Scots on that occasion. It picked up from Dean there. 7 players on the field. And those watching at home that might not be too familiar, that is a penalty, and Scotland unlucky not to get the ball back on that occasion.
Yeah, I'm just looking down here at the Scottish box. Their players are struggling in these conditions. And here goes Japan again. They look short here. Well read by Scotland defensively. Tokiyusho tried to get through a small gap. The ball's in the hands of Hori. He looks left, but comes back to the right, and there he goes this time. A long ball in the hole. Really well set up. That was Irakara, and he gave the pass off to Tokiyusho, I think, number 4, to score, and Japan. Every time they get down that attacking zone, they have options left and right. And are really putting Scotland to the sword. Yeah,
absolutely. They just, you really feel sorry for the Scots. They're constantly on the back foot, and Japan are making them go left and right. But again, we've made mention of it a couple of times, that crisp ball straight from half with a nice running motion on from the support players. They're coming onto the ball at speed, and they're finishing off just beautifully, Japan.
Scotland now looking to finish with a flurry. The ball's in the hands of Taylor. He's caught there about 20 metres out from the Japanese line. Taylor drives into him again. Chillingworth at half. He comes out, he goes back to the right, goes short to Taylor. Taylor gets the pass out, but well read there once again by the Scottish defence, this time wrapping up Johnson. And the 6 touches go, and once again, we've talked a lot about the Japanese attack, and it's been very, very good. But their defence has been just as impressive.
They'll have to use it here because they've just turned the ball over as they're working their way out of the field. So Scotland, they look to, can they finish off strong? They want to get another touchdown here before the full-time siren.
Okay, Arundel there. He gives the ball off to Armstrong. Just slowing the play down. Armstrong's with the ball now. They're bringing fresh troops on. And Walkinshaw is out there as well. It's in the hands of Armstrong. They get back here. They put the ball in, the short ball, and there's a touchdown. Another post, as they say. Really well set up. Lawson with that short ball to Walkinshaw, and Scotland have scored a really nice touchdown.
Well, it even fooled me on that play. I was looking as him hold the ball up, and in my head I was thinking a nice little link ball with an outside in would have been the play, but they went short. Beautiful try. Japan, they're still on the attack.
Japan have got this game wrapped up, but they still want another one. Ball down. And that is the end of what I think was a really entertaining game. Japan really impressive. They've defeated the brave Scots, who's really struggled with the hot conditions and the humidity out there, but really impressive Japan.
Yeah, Coach Steve Roberts, he has to be proud of his boys after that effort. It was almost pretty as close as you can get to a complete performance. Pretty good defensively, outstanding in attack, and Japan, as we've made mention, one to watch. We're going to keep an eye on them as they progress through the men's open division. So stay tuned. We have more games as mentioned. Thank you to the BBC. Our next game that we're going to commentate is in the mixed open division. It's going to be New Zealand versus Wales. We're going to head back over to field 6 for that. We'll finish off the day with a tremendous battle between England and Scotland in the mixed open as well. Stay tuned. We're coming right back.